In the United States, the game of football is a very important game. It starts out as a little kid going all the way through professional leagues. I'm going to talk a little bit about today about the history of football, how it's played, some of the rules, and how the equipment has evolved over the years. Let's start by talking about the history. Modern day football originated from the ancient Greeks. The rules of this ancient game were very simple. Basically, you would score points when a player would cross a goal line by either kicking the ball, running with it across the goal line, or throwing it to somebody else in the goal. The other team's objective was simple. It's go tackle the guy that has the ball. Now, there was no specific field length, there was no specific boundaries. It was a very simple game. One of the biggest innovators in modern day football, or at least in the late 1800s modern, was Walter Camp. He helped begin the final step in the evolution from rugby style play to the way we see it today. The IFA's Rules Committee soon cut the number of players on the field from 15 to 11. Now that we know a little bit more about the history, let's talk about the game in general, and we'll talk about some of the rules. From kids as young as 4 or 5 can start playing football, all the way up to grown men. And from a young age, in America, football is huge, especially in Texas. Football is one of the biggest sports throughout the nation. In 1882, Walter Camp introduced the system of downs, after first allowing 3 attempts to advance the ball 5 yards. In 1906, the distance was changed to 10 yards. The 4th down was added in 1912. In 1933, the NFL, which followed the rules of the college level at that point, went through a lot of changes and added a lot of rules. And they began to develop their own rules for what they needed for their specific league. The innovations from the 1932 championship game, inbounds line or hash marks, and goalposts on the goal lines were adopted. The forward pass was legalized from anywhere beyond the line of scrimmage. Types of rules include offsides, personal fouls, neutral zone infractions, and among others. Especially nowadays, the biggest one is helmet-to-helmet tackles. Guys are getting fined very big amounts because they're causing so many concussions, and it's not safe for the players. So they have to stop that. Now that we're familiar more with the game and the history of football, let's talk a little bit about the equipment. One of the most important pieces of equipment is the helmet. This protects the most vital part of our body besides our heart, which is our skull and our brain. Basically, you just slip this on, attach the chin strap, and as so. It really does help because it stops so many concussions from happening. And it has evolved in a number of ways. In 1896, the helmet was introduced. It was very different from what we have today. It started off as moleskin or leather and provided very little to no protection. In 1939, the NFL made them mandatory because so many guys were getting hurt and having concussions. There is a very good history of shoulder pads as well. They became popular in the 1950s. When they first came out, they made them out of leather. And in the following years, they came with plastic or foam, and nowadays they're a different material that I don't know. There's other parts of the equipment that's very important as well. There's a jock strap that protects the vital organs, as well as mouth guards, chin straps, basically anything you can think of to keep these guys as safe as possible. There's an equipment manager that customizes every part of the equipment for the personnel because they want to keep these guys safe as possible. Modern day football is an integral part of the American way. The game of football has come a very long way in the short amount of time that it's been around. It has definitely made a huge impact on the nation, especially in Texas where there's so many football fanatics you can't go out the door without seeing one. From the new rules to the evolution of safety equipment and everything else. Now that we all have a better understanding of the game, I hope that you all appreciate it more, and I hope that you know a little more about it. Thank you.